About all like humans.
Hello, everyone. I don't know, is everybody here? Oh, hi. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's been a minute. I hope everybody enjoyed their day and the breaks as well. Great. Welcome, welcome. Okay. So I think that's enough pleasantries. We can get back to business. So today we are still going to pick up from where we stopped last time. But before we do that, we can do a little recap till the slide that we stopped so that, for persons that were not on the last class can catch up with us so that everybody is on set with us. So I'm just going to do a quick review, and then we land at where we are, which is project planning checklist. Eniola, thank you. Yes, we're having an error-free day. We planned ahead of challenges and tasks that may occur. So yes, let's start from the very onset. So we're on slide 8 now. So we will go back to the very beginning. So last class, we spoke about project planning. And under the project planning, we have WBS, which is work breakdown structure, Gantt charts, and network diagrams with resource planning and allocation, with risk identification and management. So, in context of what we spoke about project planning, thank you, Victoria. It's more of analysis and detailings in projects, more detailing in projects. The act of understanding the overview of what a project is, to be able to critically analyze and to make decisions, and to be able to meet up to your task and deadlines. That's pretty much the overview of what we spoke about project planning. But reading it, it says, now that we have analyzed our project in more details and understood the type of project, it is critically the stakeholders, the sponsor, and the requirements. We are ready to start planning the project. So, in the project management plan, it describes how I plan to manage the changes to the scope, from the scope, the time, cost, issues, risks, quality, communication, and resources. In the fourth slide, we have project planning, also a definition, which is it is a procedure or a set of procedures. Once defined, it can be used again in other projects. It describes the steps that will be taken, who will take them, when, and how. The project management plan is a living document and evolves as the project evolves. The following is a list of the key deliverables in a project management plan. Don't worry, you're not late. We're just doing a quick recap on what we did last week. So we have the project management plan, which is the project management approach, the work breakdown and structure to the level at which control will be exercised, budgeting, schedule start and finish dates, responsibility charts and assignments, chan- change control, sorry, change control plan slash system, performance measurement baselines, major milestones and their target dates, resources, risk management, plan, open issues, pending decisions, project organization chart, which is what we'll be looking more into today, project organization chart. We started it in the last class, so we'll dig more into it today. It is important to have been through this list and decided what is applicable to your project. At the start of the project, we may only have a high level understanding of the various deliverables. For example, we may only have an overall budget or end date and not yet be able to give more detail. So I'm just reading through. And then our project planning checklist, where we spoke about the important pointers that you need in your project checklist, from the headers to the body. From the headers, we have project step description, inputs, outputs, and comments. Project steps, this is, we have scope and team development, scope definition, activity definition. These are the methodologies, the processes, the phases of a project step. So you could say a phase or a step. Either way, it goes the same way. Or what do you even call it? A sprint. Yes. Oh, it's sprint as well. Then we have step description. This is where you scope dates. You make the scope of the project. Uh, Pretty much what the project is about, what the project is supposed to achieve, where the project is supposed to be at, creating the team, which is also under the team development phase. And then we have subdividing the scope into deliverables, subdividing the work packages into activities. We also have inputs, which is project charter, what we'll be discussing plenty so much on today. Once we're done with the checklist, we have scope statement and work breakdown structure. We also have output scope statement again, showing its head, work breakdown structure, activity list, why, what, when, who, how much, where, how many. So in the last class, somebody said this comment, it sounds like what elder sisters used to say, firstborns. So yeah, something like that. Comments. That's the documentations, that's reports, that's surveys, questionnaires, analysis from the project. Then we have project MS project tools and the likes of them. So this is us catching up with where we were yesterday. Day before yesterday, sorry. This is the slide where we stopped, number 8. Activity sequencing, identifying interdependencies between activities, activity list, project network diagram. What is this? Ethics. Yeah, ethic activities or buy work packages, take into account the resources available, the efforts and duration required. We have schedule Gantt, which is also part of the outputs. And then we have project project staff. I'm sorry, my screen is being very fuzzy. Okay. Okay. So far, yeah, I think it should be moved. Yes, the frame. Thank you so much. So yeah, project staff, which is part of assignments, and get the best people for the job, negotiate with the line managers, which is also part of comments. So this is project management class. This is project management class. Someone is saying she thinks she's in the wrong class. I don't think you're in the wrong. Okay, yeah, you're not in the wrong class. Okay, so yeah, okay. Risk management planning. In the project steps, we have cost estimating, risk management planning, and project plan development. Estimating the costs of the projects. All these are under estimation. Inputs, which is schedule, guns. Outputs, we have cost budgets. Comments, we have take into account the duration, the efforts required. Other costs. Hello, can you hear me? Okay, so okay, so cost estimating, estimating the cost of the project. This is where we're going to take off today. Okay, thank you. Sorry. Cost estimating and estimating the cost of the project. So, usually, whenever I'm explaining, I like to use real life situations and explain with good life situations to help make you guys understand how you can go about the steps. So in the last one, we were using a water bottle company. Yeah. Sorry, back. Yes, it's actually my network. I apologize. I sincerely apologize. So we have estimating the cost of the project, schedule Gantt, and cost budgets. Take into account the duration, the efforts required, and other costs. So in cost estimation, I actually spoke about this in the last class. So let me just start from there. When we're talking about what about now, up to now, you can't hear me till now. Is that bad? Am I back on? Okay, great then. Thank you so much. I almost got off. Okay, so schedule Gantt, cost estimation and estimating the cost of the project. So remember in the last class when I was talking to you about budgeting, I mentioned that you can have two plans. You understand? You can have two. For me, that's what I usually do. Though I make two clear budgets. I make two clear budgets. One with an estimation, over estimation of each of the costing for my resources, my labor, um, and strategizing materials, all that is needed, be it for manpower, material, for mechanical, land itself, depending on what the project may be. I always do an overestimation of each of the prices for each of these resources or services that you'll be paying for. Okay, great. We're good now. So yes, always make an estimation of that level and then have the actual amount of everything. That actual amount is what you are going to work with for yourself, and the overestimation is what you can submit, so that when you know that there will be problems, but then you still have to be clear and transparent with your clients that this is an estimation of what everything would cost us, you understand, based on the budget that has been allocated to you, or based on your own market research or findings. Don't worry, Adejoke, we're going to get to Gantt and WBS in detail. We're getting to it. So we're just going through project planning checklists. The moment you understand this, it's going to be easier for you to get it. Thank you so much, Morenike. It's nice to meet you too as well. It's lovely. Pleasure. So yes, so once you've done the estimation, which is the steps of of the project step, cost estimation, the input is you making Gants. So what are Gants? What are Gants? Let me just brush through before we get into it. So a Gantt is more of a clear overview. Is a clear overview of a chart, rather, I say, of network diagrams. It helps you to remember. It's more of a visual chart of what you need to work on as a project manager. It's how will I explain it? Like for example, PowerPoints. When you're presenting with you put your PowerPoint, you have slides, right? You have slides. So imagine you having graphs and flows. That's pretty much what a Gantt chart is like a pie chart or bar chart, you understand? But Gantt has sections, subsections and links to show you the flow of the work. For example, like agile, how the agile table looks like. You can also say that's a Gantt, like you can use that as a template for your Gantt chart. So it helps you to know what job needs to be done and what job should be done by the day, by the end of the day, or by the end of the sprint or tax or deadline. It can be done parallel or vertical depending on how the arrangement of the chart is. But don't worry, we're going to get into it. So you're going to fully get what a Gantt is. Have I answered that? Thank you. And then we have cost budget. It's almost the same thing as step description, but this is the output. For cost budget output, this is where you have more of, your resources on ground, and they are clearly seeing what the money has been spent on, and it is still in the budget documentation list. So this is also a form of output. The invoices, the receipts you get for making such purchases and stuff like that, that's what you can use as outputs. We also have comment, which is take into account the duration, the efforts required, and other costs. So when you're thinking about the duration, it depends on what time your supplier supplies these products. Or yes, yes. Thank you, Chioma. Yes, it is. It is. So take the account into duration, which is time, the time bound. How long did it take for you to get your resources? Were your suppliers reliable? Did you have to subsidize, or did you have to compromise? Was there a lot of compromising? Was there a lot of hassle to get it? Was it a problem? So you have to get all these comments too as well. Get back feedbacks from your suppliers. Is it something that they look forward to giving you more service in future? Is it something that you people have established relationship based on the project? All this have to be, commented. And if the costing, was it fair? Was it way out of the budgeting? All this have to be put into consideration. Thank you. So we have risk management planning, defining the procedure of managing risk. Defining the project is one way to go about it, one of the most important steps. And then you sitting down and evaluating each step. That's helping you to know the risks that may come up, like that may come in future. And we have forecasting too as well. I don't know if you know what forecasting is, but forecasting is like predicting. So you can also forecast in your project. You can also predict in your project. It will really help you in order to be able to manage risks. Like how I mentioned in budgeting, always try your best to estimate, put like an extra 5 or 10% in your estimation price, so that it will really help you to make sure that you are on budget and you're on scale. Because there is always, the market is not always stagnant. There are always a lot of reasons that prices change, be it economic, be it logistics, be it mostly economy. But then you have to put all of this into factor. We have the human factor too as well. We have the production factor, we have deliverable factors. All these factors, these are things you have to also put into consideration when you're trying to manage risks. And then we also have, you can also do backups to, depending on how the budget is. You can get, for example, you can get an option B to your option A if, for example, your sound isn't working. You can have like, you can rent out a mini speaker as a backup in case of anything happens. Have you noticed too that whenever you go to like seminars or things like that, you will notice that when they probably have like problems with the sound, you always see them, they'll rush and bring one very small mini backup microphone and it has batteries, then they'll just try to salvage everything. All this kind of things. Yeah. Little things like that matters too. This helps with you predicting to handle risks and to manage the project effectively. So we have risk management plan, which is there for the documentation. How were you able to handle it? Is it something that you have to require more man labor or power? Is it something that the presenters, sorry, the suppliers are people that you plan on working with in future or not? Are you going to be looking forward to having new persons in your team so that you cannot fall into dilemmas? This is very important. So, what is in under comments? We have what is risk threshold, how to manage, when to hold meetings. Yeah. So, when you're having projects, I always mention. I don't know if I mentioned it in the last class, but meetings are very important. Meetings are very necessary. You cannot have project and not have meetings. Honestly, that's sadness already in the project showing itself. So should be days allocated for meetings. There should be days allocated for reports. There should be allocated for report reviews. There should be days that there should be um, group meetings or team meetings. So yeah, always scheduling of meetings can help you. It helps by far when it comes to risk management, because you might have a team and then nobody is giving you reports. Then on the day of the event, somebody comes and start telling you, "Oh, sorry, I didn't get batteries." But you know your job, you know what you're supposed to do. Why don't you have batteries? You could have just said this before. Maybe you can say the person will then give you a flimsy excuse of, I I I had exceeded my budget, or I didn't I believed or I felt that if I come here I will get battery. How in heaven's name were you playing? Do you see shops in this place? You understand? So things like that. You have to always make sure that you have meetings, have thorough meetings before the day of the event or the project, and then have meetings before the event, hours before the event, maybe an hour or two before the event, and have meetings, even not meetings, supervise. You have to supervise at the event or the project. Make sure you have your checklist, which is what we're already talking about. Have your checklist. Make sure that each department, for the department handling sound, okay, they have batteries. Okay, they have microphones. Okay, they have speakers. Okay, we have backup speakers. Yes, I really have. Make sure that they all have all this. You will hear very crazy things when it comes to all these events. Imagine there was an event. I'm sorry, I'm deviating, but there was an event I held. I project managed. We had two speakers. We had two sound persons. The first sound persons was using Spotify ads in 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 a Kaduna, in a major event. Imagine, imagine you having music and you are hearing Spotify ads. It's not funny. It's not funny. It's not funny. It's bizarre. It's not done. It's not done that way. So yes, you have to make sure that they have to even give you a list of what they are playing. You have to have your list um of um, of music. If you don't have your own playlist, you can get it from even the Spotify that, yes, that somebody has decided to trash you. Just make sure that you know what they are going to be playing. You can they, because they will surprise you. They will surprise you, and it's going to rub off very bad. I felt so bad that day. It was not funny. So you understand, you have to have. So we had to get the backup person to take over. We had to be using the other sound that we had kept for other places. For the it was my fault because I didn't listen. It wasn't my I felt it wasn't my forte. We had another project manager handling music, and I didn't fully um plan with the person to listen to the musics. You understand? Very trivial things. You have to constantly reevaluate what everybody is doing. Even your co-project manager has to always have meetings with you, because it's not all the time that they are able to do everything, and it's not all the time that I can do everything. Yes, I'm traumatized. Goodness, I am. So yes, constantly holding meetings, always constantly reviewing what everybody is doing is very important to help you in risk management, in planning, in your planning, yes, in your checklist too as well. So constantly having every department in check, from the either curating team or curating department, fashion department, sound department, music department, all of this welfare. Make sure that the materials is there. Your checklist is your savior, because you will just miss one thing and it will just let you just everything just becomes a wasted effort. But God forbid that will not be our case. So yes, so the last step here is project plan development. Just in a nutshell, everything that we've discussed so far, you creating this project plan, and you making sure to go through it even at the end of the project, pre, post, and during projects. So defining the integrated project plan. So far, how has the project been going? Has it been going well? It has been going well. Okay, great. Then the successes should be defined, the challenges should be defined. It's not important that you write down too many explanations. Just write down these the important points, the most important points that needs to be listed on it. Write it and get it over with. Nobody wants to be reading 10 pages of just how you just got one material to the event. Honestly, that is just a lot of unnecessary documentation. So be very clear and precise, and you know on with your yes. So okay, if we're discussing about your LMS, then we have all subsidiary plans. That's your backup plan to your backup plan. Plan A, B, and C. You understand? Always having your plans reviewed, evaluated, and don't have too much plans. Don't have too much checkbooks, because the moment you do, you can lose your train of thoughts. That's also like another very important point. Don't have too much check. Don't let your checklist not be more than one copy or two copies, like your backup copy. If you have more than two copies, honestly, you get confused. You can get confused, because maybe if you are very strong with your focus, like very keen with your focusing, maybe that can help you. But personally, I feel more than two is too much. You're asking too much, because you would have this on your list and have that on the other list, have that on the other list. Make sure that everything is in one list. As it can be bad, it should just be one list that has everything. Everything should be just in one list. You understand? This will really help you in making sure that everything goes easy for you. So we have outpost, which is project plan. I've explained it. And then we have comments. First, do all the individual plans, then integrate into integrated project plan. This is me explaining it again. You therefore having a whole overview of everybody's plan. Make sure you understand what everybody's plan is. Make sure you go through everybody's budget. has everybody submitted their budget? Okay, what is their budget like? Is it looking realistic? Is it looking way out of budget? All this have to be put into consideration. Make sure that you then have a reviewed plan, a reviewed plan or a reviewed document of what you feel best or how it can be better for them, because you're constantly supervising. So that's the easiest way you can go about it. So in our next slide, we have quality planning. Let me just be all breezy about this. Quality planning. Under quality planning, as a project step, we have step description, defining the procedure of for managing quality. Defining the procedure for managing quality. So for quality planning, which is what kind of resources are we using? Are we using the best of the best, or we're going to use, I know somebody that can do it cheaper? Are we going to look for a good graphics designer, or we're just going to use free tools from our own end like Canvas or AI itself? You understand? So quality planning, and then output, which is quality management plan. This is the result, whereby if the consumer sees it, is he okay with it? Is it enough? Is it up to the standard in which they are paying for the services they are paying for? So yeah. Then we have communication planning. I always mention, I'm the first class, the first thing I even spoke about was communication. I said communication is very key. Even when you give birth to a child, you need the child to cry so that you can know what is wrong with the baby, or know that if the baby is alive or not. Still, so communication is key. So you have to define the procedures of managing the communications. And for example, let's say most most um most projects tend to have communication strategists. If you have a communication strategist in your team, that is an extra plus for you, because they can help you to review persons that you are supposed to be talking to on a norms, like the team and guests and sponsors and stakeholders. They make sure that communication is clear and concise. Where you may be having troubles with communicating to maybe stakeholders, or this is the challenges that we're facing, communication strategies, they help you with that. So that's one of like the importance of communication strategies in your project, having them as like part of your team. And also you as well, being a project manager, should also have good communication skills, because even the communications manager too can do you strong thing. So you constantly have to be supervising even the communications manager. You communicate with your team, um, make sure that they know what deadlines should be, know when they should know where to deliver, when reports should be turned in, and what are the challenges and problems of the project, which is hence you having constant, yes, which is you constantly having meetings and overviews and evaluations. So we have risk identification. Under risk identification, we have brainstorming to list all possible risks. This is just you like having meetings with your team. You cannot just sit down and think of all the problems in this world. It is a big lie. You sitting there and thinking of that problem is a problem. So once you have a very good team, it's advisable for you guys to, for everybody in the team to always sit down and evaluate what are the challenges that we can face in in this project. What are the challenges? Is our host going to be, is the person hosting this, is the person fluent enough? Is the person going to be on time? You have to help them to re evaluate and to identify where there can be problems, because as trivial or as little as it may look, it can have a big impact on your event or on your project. So work breakdown too helps you, which is what WBS means. Work breakdown strategy, that's what it will help you with, to help you to know where the risks are and where problems may occur. Sometimes they can be man-made and they can be artificially made, or they can be economic made. They can even be weather. Little things like this, you have to also consider things like this, all this nano and mano problems. So you have to constantly look at everything critically, not just from a successful and positive point of view, but you have to look at it at a very pessimistic point of view to pessimistic and optimistic view. I'm always mixing that two up. So yes, risk list. Just as you have your whole project planning list, you also have to have a risk list too as well. The project planning checklist has to have a risk list. Okay, so what if sounds go bad? Do you have other two sound persons that you can call at a go on standby? What if the photographer's camera breaks? Can we get another camera to shoot everything and document it? How many drone photographers or drone pilots rather, sorry, are we getting to cover the event? Are we going to get hosts for the red carpets? Are we going to brainstorm on how we can make our guests connect with our audiences? Just, brainstorming. So use negative brainstorming to, which is one of the comments here, funny enough. So we have risk analysis. Under risk analysis, we have ranking risks by importance, impact and probability. I mentioned this earlier. And we have input, which is the risk list, which is still a brother of risk identification. And then we have ranked risk list, from the number one thing that you think is the major challenge that you can have to the most trivial and little thing. It should be ranked. You should put everything in a list. Okay, so from the first, let's say the hall can be a problem. What if we do not get our hall to be booked on this day? What other days can they accept? Can we do, will our guests be okay with this day in case? So we have to book beforehand. And what if we book beforehand and they say that our space has to be taken? Can we still work with another good time? Things like this, you have to make sure that you have ranked each and every one of them. Then we have Excel spreadsheets. An Excel spreadsheet will be your best friend as a project manager and your calendar. I keep mentioning this. These are tools that really help you, and they're also very free. You can just use from your Google account. It helps you you can link them with your phones as well. It helps you be more on the job, more professional, and more effective. So yeah, that's it for project planning checklist. We also have risk response planning. How do you respond to, how do you rank the risks? Like I mentioned, you rank it from the biggest to the smallest, from the major problems to the most trivial ones. Like for example, the biggest one I used, for example, is the hall. What if we do not book in time? Is there a subsidiary date that we can use? To the littlest thing like our sound. Is the DJ going to be using Spotify ads in Spotify, or he's going to be using a paid account? Things like that. So you have to put that into consideration in your rank listing. So yes, Olua Yimi Ka. Or should I call it Ario? I'm very, my accent is very terrible. I'm very sorry. I love your name though. I hope I didn't destroy it. So, okay. So we have procurement planning, and under planning we have define what to buy and how. We still have work breakdown strategy coming here and procurement management plan as outputs. Roles of a project manager in procurement role of purchasing department. Define what to buy and how to buy. Like I mentioned, I don't know. I keep saying like I mentioned. I'm sorry. When you are getting your resources and when you're getting your labor or your services, you have to know who you're getting it from, where you're getting it from, and how you're getting it. This is very important for you as a project manager, because when the project is done, the client or the customer, they don't know those people. It's you that bought the things that they know. It's you that they will hold accountable for it. So you have to make sure that you're getting good quality, standard quality, and a very clean job. Not everybody, not everybody would want to understand that. Yes, because of poor planning, you had to use a cheaper material. No, no, no. In the long run, it's better to always use good materials, and also to make sure that whilst your work is being clear in your grant charts, in your work break strategy, you have to make sure that everything is clear and precise and clean. Your data is clean, that it can be readable and understandable. So roles of PM in a procurement role of purchasing department. As funny as it is that you may not be the one under finances, and you're not the one directly handling, you can have a financial accountant, you understand. It's still you that they will still come and drag. Oh, that's how comes this did not work well, because even the financial accountant is still under you as a project manager. You're controlling everybody. You're managing everybody. It's not just the project. You're managing everybody. You're managing everything. Every result you are accountable. You are meant to be accountable for it. You are the administrator of the whole event, of the whole project. So every problem that has a negative result is you that will be accounted for. Is you that's going to be accounted for. Yes, the person is the one in charge of it, but you're the one spearheading the project. You're the one looking over the events, the project. So how comes you're having this problem? So you understand, you have to make sure that you know your roles, and you know that everybody has to be on, yes, everybody has to be on their best behavior and on their best character, and be able to deliver to their best capacity. So we have procurement, buying goods or services needed for projects, which is still also resource allocation in a way. Chama, sorry, you've been doing work for free, but yes, you've been doing work for free. It depends. It depends. Then we have procurement management plan. This is you just having your plan, your documents that make sure that everything, your project planning checklist. See, in every stage, there's supposed to always be a checklist. You have your major list. Each department has its own list. Each department has their own teams that you are supposed to know everybody's name. Each department that has a list of resources or appliances or third person, you are supposed to know those resources, those appliances, those third parties. You are supposed to know every single thing. You're supposed to have it documented. Because the moment you don't have it documented, or the moment, what if, God forbid, somebody in on the project goes sick on the day of the event or the day of the project, when you people are supposed to air everything, and that person is the one that has the contact the logistics to the logistics chairman, or to the drivers that are supposed to go and pick up the guests, or he's the one that is handling hoteling, so you don't even know which hotel or which accommodation you're accommodating your guests. You will just look mad. So no, you have to make sure that everybody in that project, you know everybody's name, you know everybody's surname, you know everybody's schedule, who is supposed to be working on this, who's supposed to be working on that. You know who is supposed to be delivering for this project. You're supposed to know which resources we're supposed to use. You're supposed to know the third parties. Which company are we collaborating with, or are we allocating with to get these resources? Okay, what quality are we using? You're supposed to have that person's number safe. Not just that person's having his number. You're supposed to have the other person's. You just have to just have everything under wraps. So yes, that is just pretty. You just have to be critically clear with your documentations and your data. Data is power. The more you have, the more it's easier for you to be able to get your projects to be wrapped in good time, and it's good for you to be able to even know the persons that you're working with, so that if anything goes bad, which god forbid doesn't, because of, I'm sure, because of you being so meticulous with your work, it won't go bad. But you just have to just plan ahead. Mitigations too as well, which is part of what we all mentioned in this as risk response planning and also risk management planning. So yeah, so importance of kickoff meeting. In order to get the project team working together quickly and efficiently, we strongly recommend that you hold a kick-off meeting as early as possible in the project. This meeting can last half day or 1 day and should address the following points. So remember when I was talking about meetings, how you're supposed to make sure that you're constantly having meetings with your team. you you need to constantly be talking to your team. You need to be constantly checking up on your team. You need to constantly be checking up on your team. You have to know whether there are deadlines. You're supposed to make sure that they report to you directly before they even directly send it to your boss, because sometimes they will send your boss something, and because your boss, they have access to your boss, they will send it to your boss directly. Your boss would think that you are the fool because of you let you he feels that you gave them the power to submit something like that. So they have to report to you before they even take it to the boss. You have to view it. Is it something that, okay, uh you won't look stupid, because it can be unethical at times. You're supposed to report it to me. Why are you reporting to Oga? You understand? So you have to make sure that you have to have meetings with your team directly, or before they even meet up with your clients. You just have to make sure that everybody has one voice. A team that is divided, that is not united, can cause havoc to a project. It's yes, it's a team that is not united will definitely lead to a tragic downfall, because there is no respect, there is no cultural behavior, there is no It just went off. Yeah, we're supposed to have a break right now. I think I think the
Ever felt like you were juggling? Ever felt like you were juggling chains? Ever felt
was a lot of hustle and bustles going on in the um comment section about attendance. So sorry about that. But it should be working now. Yeah, it should be back by now. But if in case it's not back, don't worry. You can still do that. Um, maybe in the next 5 minutes, you can just give it a little time. You know that maybe there's too much activity going on, so it's a bit overflooded right now. But yeah, so give me a thumbs up so that we can continue. I'm sorry how the network just went off on me. I think it was because of the timing for the break that made it so. Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much for the thumbs up. You guys are the best. So yeah. So I mentioned earlier about meetings, about how vital meetings are for any project manager to have or to constantly hold with their team. So here I was about to give an example of a frame time frame for a project. I said, for example, if there is a project that should be done in March, yeah, a project that should be done in March, your team can start um, meeting, can start having meetings 4 months, even 5 months before the project. So that means you can start having it by August, September, October, November, December. Yes, it depends on the time frame. You can start having it from September. Yeah, yes, you can start having it from September or October in line to the. Don't worry, Olari, Waju, Ruth. Don't worry, you don't need to worry. You'll still catch up. We're not that far ahead. So, where was I? March, yes. You're having a project during March, and you and your team, you can't just start up planning on March. Ha, that's that's a lot of faith. That sounds like a lot of faith playing or a lot of gambling. So it's most advisable you start 3 months before. So if you start in March, that's March. So let's say September, October, you can start having meetings with your team. You have you can have a a day with a meeting in a week, 1 day meeting in a week, or you can have half a day meeting. You can have um a weekly, yeah, a bi-weekly, no, a weekly meeting of just 1 day. That's, let's say, for example, you can pick a day that not everybody would feel too too time constrained, because people in people's head, they're still thinking, oh, it's still like far. You understand? They're still thinking it's still very far. So that it doesn't be like a chokehold on people, you can start planning 5 to 3 months before the time. And then the thing is that you have a weekly meeting with your team, just 1 day in a week. You can pick You can pick a weekend, you can pick a weekday, depending on how the project is or what the nature of the project. Depending on the nature of the project, is it going to be like a 3 day event? Is it going to be a day event? Is it going to be a week event? Is it going to be a monthly project? It depends on the time frame though. But then if it's just maybe a 3 to 1 week day event, you can start planning 5 months before it and then have a 1 day in a week meeting with your team. So in the likes of that, you could have meetings from maybe roughly 2 hours because you just need them to be updated. You just need everybody to have their reports on ground. Everybody is supposed to have their resources on ground. Everybody's supposed to have their budgets on ground. This will help you because you're curing tomorrow's sickness today. You understand? So you start planning and meeting up with your team maybe weekly. Then when it's a month to the event, then you can increase the number. Traditional marriage and a white wedding. Let us use this event as an example first before we enter one bear matter. Um, so what you can then do is that when it's a month to the event, you can then have 2 days meetings. Like you can increase the number to twice a week. Twice a week. You can make it to be midweek and end of the week. You understand? Because you've given them enough time to be able to do their research and you've given them enough time to have results from either what they have done or what have been allocated to them or what they've done. You can now they have probably done their tasks, their assignments, and are just giving looking forward to giving you feedback. So evaluation. Yes, so that's how you can also do it. Then we could say days days to the event, no week, a week before the event. You can then have meetings. Meetings like 3 times to 4 times a week. So we're thinking Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, they have to be everybody has to be giving you daily reports. Everybody has to be, it's no longer monthly, it's no longer bi-weekly or weekly, it's now daily reports. Everybody has to give you daily reports. Who are you talking to? How are you converting this? Have the guests confirmed? Are we going to, how is their ticketing? How is their booking? How is their accommodation? What are the panels going to be discussing about? Have they submitted their slides? Important things like that. Yes. So you just have to just help everybody know that they are they are going to be on a schedule and they have to be delivering. That's very important and necessary. So let's just use the pointers that is here. Uh, and we have first importance of kick-off meeting, which is one introductions. Orientation. I would just call this introduction is also orientation. You have to orient your team. You have to orient your team because even in the major teams, you're going to have subsections in the teams. So you're going to be having people supplying you and they don't know what they are supplying for. You're paying for people's services and they don't know exactly what they are. Yes, we know we're supposed to be handling the sound for this event, but what kind of music are they supposed to be paying and playing? You understand? You're supposed to give them a scope of what the project is. Is it a business matter that they can only be playing soundtracks that are cool and breezy? Or is it going to be a fashion event whereby you are playing the hottest trends, you're getting everybody in a vibe, all that? You have to consider all of this. Yes, Choma. Yes. Choma said when you have collected money and you know say the fit beats you. So yes, procrastination is what Adejoke mentioned. Yes. So you have to make sure that you introduce everybody, know everybody, everybody. It's very important that you as a project manager, you know everybody by their first names. It's very important, honestly. I feel it's very important. It's very important for you to know everybody by their first name. It means that you are conscious about them. It also makes them feel that yes, you will take them serious and they take you serious. People love hearing their names. People love it when you call their names. So use it as a way to be able to communicate with them. How would you like it if somebody just saw you on the first day of a board meeting that you're supposed to be working on a project, and then he starts calling you four eyes? I don't understand four eyes why. Because of maybe you're wearing glasses or something like that. No, call them by their name. It shows mutual respect for the person, and it also shows that you take the person with good value. You understand? So you have to be very empathetical and use be a good human being. That's also all I can say. The presentation of the project, you have to show them slides, you have to show them documents, you have to show them past works if possible, of what you have, of what the project used to be like, where you want it to be, and where you want to see yourself in. Yes, why is it just disrespectful? Yes, or where the project wants to be in future. When you take them to the past, present, and future, even if they don't have a deep knowledge of what your project is, they can understand where the project is supposed to head. So a presentation helps in communicating what the project is supposed to look like and how it's supposed to be. And it helps make everybody to, it helps people align with your goal or what the success of the project is meant to look like. So scope statements. I don't know why I'm having tongue tied. Stock Scope statement. I think I've been talking for a while. That's why my tongue is tired. Scope statement. So for statement, it is when you have to explain the whole body of the project. You have to explain what the project is about, the people that you're trying to connect, where you're trying to connect, what the aim of the project is. Just an overview of what the project is, who you are, who the team are, who the guests will be, who your target audience, your data, what you people have achieved, all that, just scope statements. And then we have teamwork questionnaires. Okay, so most of the time, yes. Thank you so much, Adejoke. I'm getting great tips here. I would look into that. So we mentioned teamwork questionnaires. So there is also this pre-team exercise that project managers tend to take with teams, whereby you ask a very simple question: what is your name? Everybody in the room should say their name, say what they do, why you're here. uh, this helps you to know where everybody is coming from. It helps you to know where everybody might be, where they're headed. It helps you to know what they are capable of doing. You understand? You definitely, you had done maybe interviews and you have picked your team, but it's very important for you to do it as, like, a team work, or a team, a on-site or in-person team activity. This helps you to know what they are all about. It helps you to know what kind of cultural behavior they have, be it from previous workplaces or current workspace. You understand? Yeah. So thank you so much, Mary. So yes, work breakdown. I'm Victoria. I'm grateful. Then we have a conflict management questionnaire. So a lot of people say that they can work under pressure, but that's a fat lie. Most of the time is a very big fat lie. A lot of people don't know how to work under pressure. A lot of people don't know how to work under pressure. A lot of people tend to get very emotional and irrational. So when you have this conflict management questionnaire, it really helps. It really helps because you would ask somebody, how do you handle, just don't pick like a very serious matter. Don't be like, oh, for example, documentation, you're having problem with documentation, how are you going to communicate? No, that's the wrong question to be asking them. The right question is, when a client meets you and tell you you look stupid, you smell disgusting, he doesn't like the look on your face, or he finds you repulsive, how are you going to handle that situation? You have bruised that person's ego, you have insulted that person, you have made that person feel less of himself. Therefore, maybe the person's self esteem and insecurities out there. So, these are actually pressures that come up in workplaces, pressures that come up in projects. Somebody can say that his colleague insulted him. They were just joking, but because the person said, you na mumu, and maybe because that person is having problem at that moment, busts. So you ask them questions like this, just in a very neutral setting, in a neutral setting, and be like, so how would you respond to this kind of treatment? Somebody will be like, somebody that clearly maybe hasn't been, in any project before, maybe a newbie or a first time person, he's just going to be like, ah, that's a lie. The person cannot try me. This person mad, blah 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 blah. Or somebody will be like, I will just take the person, I will insult the person and walk away. So it's not for you to tell this person to leave. Because most likely this person is a newbie, and you have given this person an opportunity to work with you because you saw the capacities of this person's work. So this is where you then correct them and be like, no, this is maybe say that me that can shout. Yes. So you then try to instigate morals. This is now you teaching your team morals, ethics, and cultural behaviors and other work ethics, communication skills. You will then explain to them that situations like this are definitely prone to, most of the time they are just like maybe 10% to happen out of 100, or sometimes if you are very good in a very lucky project, nobody is going to hate you, but that is a lie. There will always be haters, there will always be haters. So at least you can be able to handle, let's say, 20 to 30% of whatever may be thrown at you. Being that you are a calm person, even if you're not a calm person, you have to teach them about empathy. You have to teach them about trust with your team members, and you have to teach them about self respect and also respect for your work members and also for people too, as well. This is where you start to teach them, instigate them about values. You understand? You explain to them what the goal of the company is, and even though people tend to be factors in all these things, and all, you tend to just want to communicate with them clearly. You have to constantly be calm. Teach them how to be calm, teach them how to be understandable, teach them how to talk smartly, how to present themselves properly. They cannot come to the project wearing bathroom slippers. No. You're the one now looking for insults. Why are you coming to project without a good shoe? You understand? Or you're coming to the project and you're wearing singlet because of your sounds guy. I don't understand why. The officials that we invited Senegal or from Mali, did they tell you that they don't have singlets in their house, that they are wearing complete clothes, and you're coming to my event wearing singlets? You understand? You have to teach them about ethics, teach them about presentation, teach them about talking. And you yourself, you also have to work on yourself too. If you know you are very temperamental, you can take up classes on how you can use the number strategy, which is you take 4 deep breaths in and 4 uh, deep breaths and exhale 4 heavy breaths, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, as many times as possible, if in case you know that you're going to have a clash with either a client or so you just have to teach them all this, you understand. So resource assignment metrics for projects. Resource assignment matrix for projects. So this is like KPIs, being able to. Oh, I skipped a point. Sorry. Work breakdown structure for projects. Sorry. So work breakdown structure for projects. This is whereby you and your team will sit together and you guys plan a chart. You guys plan sections and subsections in your chart, and everybody can visually see and everybody knows their role. Everybody knows what resources they're supposed to work on. Everybody knows which time they're supposed to at least have this resulted, or they're supposed to give back their results or their reports for evaluation. This is whereby everybody has a collective voice and everybody has collective reasoning and everybody has the same vision to what the project is supposed to look like and what. So this helps with communication, and this helps make the work easier. It makes it seamless and it makes it concise, because I can't be talking to you about this project and you tell me kilo shele, I'm sorry, is it the same project we're talking? I don't understand. We have constantly be talking, so there is no way I will say, oh, where are we at with the deliverables, who is going to be handling the snack. I'm sure even somebody that's not handling vendor, or somebody that is in the marketing department can say, oh yes, I have spoken to some of the vendors and they have said. So you, everybody, even where that you're supposed to be delivering, somebody else is stepping in the gap because we're all in sync, you understand. So that's what a work breakdown structure helps to do to a team, you understand. So yeah, don't worry, you get the template. There is a template. I did okay. So we have resource assignment matrix. This is KPIs, key pointer indicators, and also evaluation trackers, whereby you and your team will be able to evaluate yourselves critically based on the results that you've gotten from the project. If you've gotten, let's say, 10% done out of 50, let's say, in handling setups, that is also very good report, because that will help you to know that, okay, we need more work, we need more persons to help in this setup or in this department, so that we can meet up to time and deadlines too as well, so that the project can be seamless, and make sure that everybody knows what they're doing and everybody see us and know that yes, we are professionals in our job. Then we have network diagram of projects. Network diagram of projects is like a Gantt chart, whereby you have from the resources, you have from the head to the supervisors to the department, and then to resources, to suppliers, and other external factors or external third parties that may be associated with your project. You understand? So that's like the network diagram. It just has a breakdown of everybody and everything, every sector, every important phase that should be clearly communicated to your team members and to the project manager too as well, so that it can be easy for you to keep track of your progress. So we have agreement on culture, behavior, standards. Like I mentioned, you are working with so many people, you don't know where everybody is coming from. You can only do your best. The way your mom and dad trained you to kneel down when you wake up in the morning to greet them, it's not the same way somebody trained their children to wake up and say hello and hi, rather than good morning ma, good morning sir, hello, hi, or hey. You understand? There are so many cultural behaviors, and there's also work behavior too. There are work behaviors too, that there are persons that believe that if it's not in their payroll, if it's not assigned to them, they shouldn't get involved in the job. And it's still fine because, it's cultural behavior, it's work behavior. It's work ethics for some people. Everybody has their own ethics and values. So you have to also make sure that you have a sound cultural behavior and standard within your team, because the first line of the people you meet in an organization speaks a lot about what the company is or what the project is all about. If you go to if you go to a let me use a music studio. When you enter a music studio, I'm sure you will see the audiotician or whatever just putting headphones, and you can come in and he's just like, hey, hi. Or the manager will be like, oh, what's up? How far? Guy, what's going on? You understand? You can go to a restaurant and then, oh, like Domino's. I've missed those people. You go in and they're like, nice, nice, or they're like, hello. And they just have this, oh, they're always changing their chants. You understand? They're always changing their chants. So you just feel, oh, welcomed immediately. And then you could go to a business firm, and then they're like, oh, hello, what's the problem, how may I help you? So each sector has its own communication style, have their own ethic, have their own behaviors. So make sure that it reaches to the standards, your team standards and norms, which is also meeting standards and norms. So under work breakdown structure. Yes, breakdown structure. Sorry, I went over it. Yeah, work breakdown structure. It is a diagram that breaks down the work to be done, or a what breakdown structure in the project. At the top, you enter the name of the project. Then on the second level, yellow in our diagram, you enter the top deliverables of the project. Make sure always to have project management as your first deliverables. The reason for this is that there are a lot of activities and project packages and work packages related to managing the project, and not just those related to the result of the project itself. For the third and subsequent levels, the question to ask is, what do I need to do to achieve the level slash box above? The most important thing to remember is that at the end of this exercise, you have all the work packages and only the work packages necessary to produce the project result. You may find that a single work package in a WBS for one project manager becomes a whole project for another project manager. So yes, so how this is going to, I'm going to show you how the graph is supposed to look like, because all this explanation, it's going to be much better when you see it. So this is what a work breakdown structure looks like. So like it is mentioned, it said at the head of it is supposed to be written as a project manager, the title of the project management, or the project itself. You can use PM Dominion House as the name of the major heading for the project, because this is why it's so is because when you have PM, I'm using Dominion Estate because it's an estate that I know. I think it's the only estate I know, and it's for using a house as example. So we could use PM Dominion Estate Project as the major heading. Why is PM? Because this helps you to narrow, helps even your work to look clear, because your department is project management. So imagine your boss coming to get reports and then he's just seeing Dominion Estates project. He doesn't know which department that is coming from. He doesn't know what the title is. Obviously, what him he's that's his company. So you're giving me a report on my company. Okay, from which section, from which department? So it helps your work look very defined and very clear. So PM, which is project management, dominion estates project. So this helps it looks more clean and clear. So then you can then write the subsection, which is build a house. And then you have your deliverables and work packages. Under your deliverables, you have project management. You have these are supposed to be the major headers. Your major headers are not supposed to be more than at least 10, because then that is too cumbersome. It's not supposed to be more than 10. At least 10. At least 10. Anything more than 10, it's not going to look clean. It's not going to look clean. It's just going to look messy. So everything, your subheadings should be clean and should not exceed more than 10. So we have project management. And under project management, you then see that there are subsections, which is schedule and funding, which is from the whole project management planning that we have. Sorry, I was a bit distracted. And then we have building, which is the project itself. We have floor, we have walls, we have roof. Then for services, we have they're supposed to also put land. Okay, but okay. Services, we have electricity, we have gas, we have water. Those are the major necessary things that you need. And then finishing, we have parquet, we have painting, and we have kitchen installation. So does this look really easy to you? A work breakdown structure. I feel it is very easy. It makes your work look clean. It makes it look clear. Even you won't be scared to look at the project or handle the project because it's clear. Then let's move to WBS rules of thumb. A rule of thumb is not a rule or a law. It is a strategy that we do because we know it works. There is no rule as to the number of levels that a WBS has. Always starts with project management as the first deliverable. Remember when I said always make sure that the heading of your project title should always hold PM, then the name of the project, then whatever subtitle you want to have or whatever you want to name it, like PM, real estate, Dominion Estates project, house projects, company projects, office projects. Yes. So you can make it PM, Dominion Estate, column, house projects. PM, Dominion Estate, column, workshop projects. It makes it really easy. It makes it really easy that way. Then there is no rule as to the number of levels that a WBS is. So when I said that your subheadings, that is this ones, the project management, building, services, and finishing, these ones are the ones I said they shouldn't be more than 10. You understand? Because when you have it, they all have subsections. You can't put water separate on a heading. It's a service, you understand? So you have to make sure that everything in a is is really detailed and it's really concise. It's really slim and narrow. You don't want it to be everywhere. You want it to be clear so that it can be readable. And nobody likes a messy data. Even me, I don't like a messy data. So, yes, then there should be no more than 10 top level deliverables. We are back here again. Use a noun, object naming convention. Like I mentioned, project management, Dominion Estate, house projects. What else can we use as a noun? A noun is a name of a place, animal, or thing. I'm sorry. Okay, we can write tractor projects. Maybe the real estate company are trying to acquire more than 2 to 5 tractors, and then we're looking at how we can get it and how we can use it for the next buildings. So you can also use nouns to help make your projects more clear and defined. What part don't you understand piece for piece? Okay, okay. Don't worry, I'm sure you'll get it along the way. So we have each sub component must have a deliverable. The lowest level of subdivision with a deliverable is called a work package. So what this is saying in a nutshell is that for each subsections that you have, there's supposed to be um, a defining body for it. There's supposed to be a defining body for it. For how to explain? So how do I explain it? Okay, so for each sub, let's say for each department, right, or for each section, let's say uh in the project management, which is scheduling. Under scheduling, we have to have time bound. We have to have we're supposed to have deadlines. Yes, we're supposed to have deadlines. We're supposed to have allocators, persons that have been allocated to these roles. And then to the list, what can we say is the list in your project management skills? So let's say risk mitigation. So under risk mitigation, that is where you can mention it as a work package. You get that? So the whole subsection of that body is a work package. Then we have each and every subcomponent must be assignable to one and only one person. So I don't know if you understand this. Like how I said that there is a head, then there is the supervisor, then there is team. You can do that. There should always be just one overall head of each department. Why you have a supervisor is to help that the head of the team member to be able to direct them, and that's the person that I feel you get your reporting and evaluation from. You cannot be getting your reports from the, what do you call them, the interns, or from the volunteers, or from the main body team. That would be a lot of work. That will be a lot of work. You can't even be getting your report from supervisor. The person you're supposed to be getting your report from is the head of department, because you can then give accounts for everything. He can give accounts for everything and everybody. Your job is to project manage and to supervise, not for you to know every, yes, knowing every single person is important, knowing everything, the resources and allocation is very important, but then it reduces so much work when you just have one person reporting to you, one person giving you all the important information that you need, so that it can be clear for you and you don't have so much workload. You have other things to also focus on. Yeah. Can we, if we don't have a large team member and we assign more than one subcomponent to a team member? I don't understand that question. Okay. I don't understand it. If we don't have a large team member and we assign more than one subcomponent to a team member, can you assign one subcomponent to a team member? Is that what you're asking? If it's that you're asking if you can make that person to be a sub under him, fine. He can be like a personal assistant to the person, but it's not advisable for you to have more than two sources of information coming to you. It becomes too much. What if they are not really aligned? You understand? It makes the work more uniform when everybody is working on one project and you're getting just one good result. Where you get too many, it can be cumbersome. And that is why the person is made head of that department, for him to also mitigate the risks and then to know the problems. Your role is to review and make sure that everything is in order as a project manager. So yeah. Yes. So do not break the work into any finer detail than you intend to track or is of value. Do not micromanage. Do not break the work into a finer detail than you intend to track or is of value. Do not micromanage. So this is just like me explaining that having just one person to make sure that he gives you everything that you need is very important than for you to start following each and every one person. No, no. It can't be. Make sure that that one person is accountable for that department. Head of head of head of videos, head of graphics, head of fashion, head of arts, head of, I don't know. The list keeps on going on and on and on and on. But make sure that each person is accountable for any problem that happens there. And where the problem can happen is that when everybody's in heat and that person feels that because when there are challenges or when unforeseen situations happens that you did not plan for happens, the person that is in that position might not be able to handle it, and people then resort to either defense. They can be very defensive, some can be very aggressive. So it is your role to also very to be very understandable, because even you too, you're trying your best to make sure that the project is, thank you, even you too, you're supposed to know, yes, you're handling, sorry, I'm a bit, so yeah, so yes, I'm sorry, I was mentioning. So they can get defensive, they can get aggressive, maybe because of maybe something is not going well and is from under their department, or maybe they had poor time to handle it. It is your role to be the bigger person and understand and be calm and try to explain to the person that, okay, you're at fault, I'm at fault. Even when you're not at fault, you're at fault. Just accept it. Just make sure that there is mutual understanding and respect, and everybody still understands that the project is more important than any emotional or whatever problem you may face in future. So that's where you can go with work break system. So creating the WBS with your team will ensure common understanding of the big picture and how each person fits in it. Yes. So Gantt charts and network diagrams. So we have a few more to go, and the class will be ending very soon because it's almost 9. So I'm going to try to see if I can take this, but a real quick one though. You will be given quizzes to answer from previous classes. I don't know if you've started, if you've been told that in your group, in your channel. So it would be very important for you guys to go through it and do your best. Just make sure to, I hope the classes have been interactive enough and be very self explanatory. Mr. Kingsley did his best. I haven't even given a shout out to Mr. Kingsley from the beginning of this class. Mr. Kingsley has been doing so great, so amazingly well with you guys. So I feel like even classes that I was not taking, he was very, very explanatory about what most of those roles were and what the topics were. So the quiz is not supposed to be hard. It's not supposed to be challenging. It's not supposed to be something that you haven't heard of from any of the classes. It's actually very easy. You would you would even be surprised by how easy it is because of how far you've come as a project manager. What's WBS? Work breakdown strategy. Let me take this slide back. Sorry, work. I always use strategy. I'm used to strategy more than structure. Sorry, work breakdown structure. Work breakdown structure. So yes, for the person that asked, work breakdown structure. I'm used to strategy. I don't know. I'm sorry, but yeah, work breakdown strategy. So I will just need you guys to make sure to apply to take the quiz so that everybody we can really evaluate how far you've come, so that yeah we can really evaluate how far you've come and make sure that everybody's carried along. So without further ado, I can take one or two questions, one or two questions before we go, so that I don't start teaching and then it'll just go off. Let me try and just thank you, peaceful peace. I do my best. I do my best. So, is there any question before like we go? You'll get the link on your Telegram. Make sure. Okay, Adejoke, don't worry. We'll talk to our technical team to make sure that that will be resolved. For persons that have taken the test, I think we can work on it to make sure that you can give maybe multiple answers, even though it's not ethical. Guess we can do that for you since it just locked you out. I don't think anybody has any question for me. Okay. Adejoke says she wants to see the um Gantt. Where is the Gantt for the structure? Yeah, this is how the Gantt chart is supposed to look like. Cynthia, you can just watch the video over again, and then you get like a very explanatory video again of me explaining WBS. Noah, you're asking for previous lessons. Sure. Would make sure to make the slides available again in the channel so that you can review before the tests, before the quiz, before you can take your quiz. Sorry. And you don't need to rush to take your quizzes. You don't need to rush to take the quizzes. You can take your time. Take your time. I would advise you to take your time. Look for a good time that you can take the quiz. It's not necessary you take it tonight. It's not really necessary you take it tonight. Take it maybe in your lunch break, or maybe in your free time, or maybe in the evening time like this when you feel you don't have much to do. You can take the test then. Then for you to take it now, most likely you're just out of class. You haven't processed it much yet. And your brain probably hasn't calmed down from taking so much info. So just make sure to take it in a time that you're good. Okay. To the platforms, I'm like curious. Okay, just she will try our best to make sure that everybody can take the test again. We'll look for a way to solve that issue. We'll look for it. We'll look for a way to solve that issue. For those that it's logged them out, we'll lay a complaint to the technical team to make sure that people can take the test again. But it's not, I don't think it's ethical for you to take your quiz more than once. So just for those that we're not able to finish, we'll do our best to make sure that the portal gets open for you to do it all over again. Omodasola, sorry about that, but no problem. Just take your time before you take the test. You don't need to the quiz. You don't need to hurry. You don't need to worry. You have enough time. So, without further ado, I want to say a very good big night to everybody and thank you so much. Peaceful Peace, what was your question before I say good night? Yes. Jekolia, I am, but we bless the Lord. I am stronger than ever. Where is the quiz? Are you on the Telegram channel? Obioma. Okay, it is necessary for you to do WBS, Peaceful Peace. It is very important. It really helps you and your team to be able to have one voice. It helps you to have very good communication skills. It helps you to be very effective with your work. It helps you to be very um, um, time bound too. It really makes everything easier. It makes the project really easier because everybody knows what they're supposed to be doing and how they're supposed to be doing it. So WBS is very, very important. So we have just no minutes or seconds left. Everybody, good night and thank you so much. It was lovely meeting you all. Have a blissful and wonderful week. Bye.
About the election